Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into a true classic, Dale Carnegie's How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. We're going to break down the powerful, super practical wisdom from this book, the actionable stuff that can really help free your mind from that grip of anxiety.
So let's just dive right in with this question. Do you ever find yourself, you're sitting with your family, but your mind is a million miles away, stuck in some office meeting that hasn't even happened yet? Or maybe you're trying to sleep and your brain just decides to open up a courtroom where you are the lawyer, the judge, and the defendant. It's a perfect way to describe that feeling, right?
Carnegie describes worry as this relentless internal trial, where the only real sentence is just restlessness and exhaustion. But here is the big hopeful takeaway. Worry isn't who you are. It's just a habit. And you know what? Like any bad habit, it can absolutely be broken. And that's what we're going to walk through right now. A practical guide to doing just that.
Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, the book lays out some really big foundational rules. And the first one, probably the most important one, is all about making a fundamental shift in where you point your energy and your attention.
Carnegie's core idea here is to live in what he calls day-tight compartments. I love this analogy. Think of a massive ship out on the ocean. It has watertight compartments, right? So if there's a leak in one area, it can be sealed off to keep the whole ship from sinking. We need to do the same thing with our time. Build these strong iron doors to shut off yesterday's mistakes and tomorrow's fears so you can pour every ounce of your energy into living just for today.
There's this great little story in the book about a baker named Ramesh. He was just constantly eaten up by what-ifs. What if customers don't show up tomorrow? What if my flour delivery is late? A friend watched him doing this and finally just said, "Ramesh, you're fighting storms that haven't even formed yet, and you're letting today's tea go cold." Wow. That simple idea completely changed his life. From then on, Ramesh decided to focus only on today's bread, today's customers, and today's little successes. Now, this is a really important distinction. Living for today doesn't mean you just throw your hands up and don't plan for the future. Not at all. It actually means that the best possible preparation for tomorrow is to do today's work with every bit of your skill and enthusiasm. See the difference? Planning is productive. It's empowering. Worrying is just paralyzing. It drains you.
So, living in those day-tight compartments, that's our foundation. But what happens when a really big, dark worry cloud does show up? It happens, right? Well, the key isn't to run and hide from it. Instead, Carnegie gives us this amazingly simple, practical three-step formula to face it head-on. This is what he calls his magic formula. It's so good. Okay, step 1, get real with yourself. What is the absolute worst thing that could possibly happen here? Step 2, mentally prepare yourself to accept that outcome, if you have to. And then step 3, once you're in that calmer place of acceptance, you can start putting all your energy into improving on that worst-case scenario. He tells a story about a businessman whose super expensive machine kept breaking down. He was terrified his whole business was going to fail. So he used the formula. First, he accepted the worst case. He might have to sell the machine for scrap and maybe even find a new job. But you know what? The second he truly accepted that, the fear just poof, vanished. His mind calmed right down, and all that mental energy he was wasting on fear was suddenly free to actually focus on fixing the machine, which he ended up doing.
All right, so dealing with big worries when they pop up is one thing, but how about building a life that's just more resistant to anxiety in the first place? This is about creating habits and perspectives that stop worry from ever really taking root. So much of our worry just comes from trying to make decisions when we're in a total fog. But the book points out that if you just follow this simple process, get the facts, analyze them, make a decision, and then act on it, a lot of that anxiety just melts away. There's a story about a student, Priya, who was terrified of failing her exams. But instead of just spinning out, she gathered the facts. Her marks had been good all year, she'd covered the whole syllabus, and she still had a full week to revise. Once she saw the facts laid out, her fear pretty much disappeared, and she could make a clear plan and just get to work. This is such a sharp, brilliant insight from Carnegie about criticism. Think about it. His point is, if people are taking the time to criticize you, it usually means you're doing something important enough to even get noticed in the first place. So the next time you're facing some unfair criticism, just remember this quote. In a weird way, it's actually a disguised compliment. It's a sign that you matter.
Okay, this one is a simple psychological truth. Your mind cannot be intensely focused on a productive task and also be intensely focused on anxiety at the exact same time. It's just not possible. One literally pushes the other out. action is the enemy of worry. So next time you feel that anxious energy creeping in, don't just sit there with it. Get busy. Do the dishes, go for a walk, work on that project you've been putting off. Seriously, when you're busy, there's just no room for worry to grow.
And hey, if none of that works for you, here is a cold, hard number to hold on to. According to research that Carnegie cites in the book, a staggering 90% of the things we worry about will never happen. Just let that sink in for a second. 9 out of 10 of your fears are basically ghosts. We spend our lives crossing bridges we never, ever come to.
So, the final tool in this kit is all about acceptance. When you're faced with something negative that you absolutely cannot change, don't waste your precious energy fighting it. That's a battle you're guaranteed to lose. Instead, the trick is to accept the inevitable, and then immediately pivot to that classic question. Okay, life handed me a lemon. How can I make lemonade? What good can I get out of this bad situation?
So after all of these rules and formulas and different techniques, the book circles back and brings it all home to one simple, profound, and incredibly powerful truth that holds everything else up.
This is it. This is the ultimate secret. The past, it's a canceled check. The future, it's a promissory note. The only real cash you have to spend is right here, right now, today. The real trouble starts when we try to carry yesterday's burdens and tomorrow's fears all on our shoulders at the same time, today. That's what crushes us. Life is a journey you live one step at a time, so just focus on taking that next step. Focus on living this one single day as well as you can, and believe it or not, the rest of the journey will start to take care of itself.
And so we'll leave you with that thought. Don't try to solve all of life's problems at once. Just for today, pull down those iron doors on the past and the future, because the greatest journey really does begin with a single step, and the calmest life begins with a single day.